there in the middle. Oh, nice crowd, nice crowd. Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to Sam's Real Estate Club. We love having you all come and braving the traffic and long day at work, and you still make the time to better yourselves and work for your future and the success of your family and your friends and your community. So we welcome you tonight, and thank you for taking the time to join us. I'm especially excited tonight because we have Carla Dennis. I've actually been wanting Carla to come speak at the club now for quite some time, so I'm really excited that we finally got her booked here. And this is the perfect time to have Carla here. Carla is not a tax expert, she's a tax strategist. And to me, that's a whole new concept of being a tax strategist. Most of us think about going through regular, following our 1040s and following what we, pick up from what our neighbor did on their taxes. But for me, I never think strategize for success, strategize to put more money in my pocket, pay my fair share of taxes, but no more than I need to pay. So I'm really excited to have Carla here tonight, and I hope you all enjoy it. But first up, we're going to have Sam, our fearless leader, Sam, come up and give a short presentation. Yes, definitely give Sam a hand.
Thank you, Amanda. Appreciate it. Give her a round of applause, please. And she wants How are you folks doing? Great. Can you hear me okay on this mic? Is it better now? Better? Better? Better yet? All right. Great group of people. I love all these beautiful faces. Isn't that nice when you look at life, as a whole, that you see this sort of like that's sort of like a diversity in everything in nature, and people have issues with it, but the nature doesn't. Haven't you noticed that? Yes. In fact, the scientists have proven that there are no two snowflakes that are alike, that are exactly alike. It's that unique. The universe we live in is so unique that every one of us, every little snowflake, every little grain of sand, has got an identity of its own. This is an incredible thing. So I'm so happy that a great group of people are here. We're going to have a wonderful meeting for you tonight. I just want to get a few things out of the way. My name is Sam Sadat. I started the club about 10 years, actually about almost 10 years ago. May of this year is going to be 10 years. I started in Glendale, and I still have people come to me that used to come to Glendale venue. And then I went to the San Fernando Valley. Any of you guys are familiar with the Airtel Plaza Hotel, right next to the Van Nuys Airport? I was there for a few years, and I said, am I crazy or what? I live in LA. The only thing I hate about LA is traffic. Everything else I love about LA. So I said, why am I getting stuck in traffic? I've got a big warehouse still in the Van Nuys area, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to move my club to close to home. I live in Santa Monica, so it's only about 5 minutes away. And actually, no traffic, about 7 or 8 minutes. With traffic, about 15 or 20 minutes. I tell you, you guys have no idea how lucky you are to be living in America, and particularly in California, even more particularly in LA. Okay, I mean, if you go around, look around what's happening around the world, not just the atmosphere or the weather, but overall, collectively, we got a great place here. And we should really be embracing that and really appreciating what we've got. And if you don't believe me, travel a little bit more. Okay? And then you know what I'm talking about. Every time you travel, you're just grateful when you're back. And you're landing here and say, thank God I'm back. But I want to tell you something. I'm not oblivious to the fact that we've got a lot of problems, right? In this country. A lot of problems, tremendous problems. In fact, I'm talking to people all the time, and they're telling me how much properties they lost, how much money they lost. Their virtual savings, life savings got wiped out through the 2008 financial crisis. It's all part of the game, folks. Okay, if you lose money, if anything happens to you in life, you've got two choices to look at. One, you're going to blame yourself and say, I'm stupid, I'm dumb, I did something dumb. Or you say, it's supposed to have been that way. I'm here to learn and experience that. I'm supposed to embrace what's happening to me right now, and that will only serve to make me better, stronger, more effective, more efficient. There are no other ways to look at it. So one is a victim mentality, which is the effect mentality. The other one is the cause mentality, which is what? Leadership mentality, which is what? A sovereignty mentality. You know what I mean by sovereignty?
Right.
Sovereignty meaning, is this bothering you? Better? Better? Yeah. Sovereignty meaning that you are essentially the captain of your ship. Okay? You're the leader of your soul. You are in charge of your life. That's what sovereignty means to me. So when I'm talking about having two choices, you have any of you guys that have lost money in the crisis, I want to congratulate you. You learned a lot. It's better than having given that money out to some bozo guru out of state and paying you $40,000 to teach you over a weekend how to make money. And 99.9999% of the people that go to these places never make any money.
That's right.
Okay? In fact, if you want to make money, you don't really need a lot of knowledge. You need some knowledge. And you don't have to pay 35, 40, 50, 60, 70,000. If you think I'm kidding, go check some of these guys out. Armando, whatever his last name is, and Dean Grazioso, or so many other people, I don't know, all these popping up all over the place, not charging $15 or $20 to come here to a venue like this, not charging like what we do for our mentoring program, $500 to teach you everything there is to know for you to take action, but $35,000 to $40,000. That's what bugs the hell out of me. I'm saying get the knowledge, get the education, spend a little bit of money. Yes, for sure. If you think education is expensive, you haven't tried ignorance. Okay? So the bottom line of it is it's good to have that knowledge, it's good to have that information, but how much information is enough information? Everybody with me on that? Do I make sense? Do I make myself clear? Okay. So you don't need to spend 35, 40, 50, 60,000 to know what we can teach you with $500 or $1,000 or maybe a few. That's it. Okay, what's important is that you apply that knowledge. I like to see every one of you guys spend a few $100s, learn the business, come to the club regularly, become a member, join our mentoring program, learn the business, and spend your $35,000 that you would have given to one of those bozos in a real estate transaction.
Yes.
And I want to tell you something else too, and you know that. Even if you lost all of that $35,000, which you would have lost anyways, because sitting in your bank account ready to be spent on something. So either you're going to invest it, or you're going to spend it on some crazy program, right? Because you would have lost it, guaranteed. Okay? So take that $35,000 and invest it. And if you lose it, you know what you will have gained? You will have gained an enormous amount of experience and wisdom. To be successful in life, knowledge is not alone. It's not the only necessity. What else do we need? I just mentioned that. Knowledge is not the only thing we need to be successful. What do we need? Experience. What else do we need? Wisdom. Okay, when experience gets accumulated, when you have a lot of experiences, what happens? You gain wisdom. You see, you think all of these gray hairs from every one of them, I have learned something. I've lost so much money in my real estate investing, in other investing, but that's what made me successful. Babe Ruth, the legend, the baseball legend, American legend, he had the highest strikeouts of anybody, right? But he had also, up until lately, the highest home runs, right? If I'm not mistaken. So any of these, Michael Jordan, he said, I missed so many shots, great winning shots, but those that he made him who he is. Everybody with me on that? So my point to you is, it's not important that you lose your money. What's important is, are you going to get up and do it again? Are you going to go out there and just say, wait a minute, I'm going to shake it off and get up and do it again. I'm going to go try again. I'm going to go do it again. You have no choice, folks. Life and living, you're doomed to make choices. I'm using that word intentionally. You're doomed to make choices. What do I mean by that? Because if you do not make a choice, life makes a choice for you by default. Yes or no? Yes. Okay, if you don't make the choice, your children will make the choice for you. If you don't make the choice, your spouse will make the choice for you. By the way, that's not sometimes bad, but you know, I'm just saying. But if you don't make a choice for your life to preserve your sovereignty over your own destiny, if you don't make those choices, you know what? Somebody else will. Life will. And you do not want to run your life by default. You want to run your life by deliberate action, by deliberate creation. Does that make sense to you when I say deliberate? Okay? I'm not saying just random action, random things happening, but deliberately taking charge, taking action, making choices, making things happen. Which brings me up to the next point. How many of you guys have bought anything recently? Or you got under contract? 22, I know you got 2.4, 2.5 million contract. How many units?
114.
114 units in Silverville?
Springfield.
Springfield, yeah, near Porterville.
Yes.
Okay. Cap rate is what? As it is?
That's why. 18.
18, 19, which means, loosely translated, cap rate means like rate of return on your investment. Okay, not quite. That's fantastic. What else? Who else has got something? Yes?
15.
15 units in Van Nuys, which you told me about, 1.7? Okay, $1.7 million, 15 units in Van Nuys. Okay, what else? What else? Yes, sir. What do you got?
1 unit.
1 unit house? Where?
Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Okay, Chapel Hill, North Carolina. For repair, for buy and hold or fix and flip?
Buy and hold, the cash flows, and it's going to appreciate. It's about walking distance to UNC.
Fantastic. Okay, so single family home. Anything else? Anything else? Anything at all. Okay? So you guys are not doing something, you're not doing much, you should be doing something. This is not the way it's supposed to be. I know you're going to tell me, Sam, inventory is low. Have you heard that? The inventory is too low? Okay, yes, inventory is too low. Yeah, that is correct. But do you guys know that we have 19 million properties still underwater in America? 19 million. Do you know where these properties are right now caught up? Do you know where they're stuck? Legal battles, government moratoriums, okay, lenders basically putting stop on their foreclosures, okay, and essentially lenders figuring out that by releasing these properties a little at a time into the market, they're essentially benefiting themselves. But you know what I see? I see this is causing another bubble for us. Because what's happening right now, the prices are going up more than what it was anticipated, okay? I give you an example. Some of you know, I bought a property, a little condo in West Hollywood. I bought it for $268,000. I spent $30,000 and I was expecting to sell it for $380,000, right? I put it on the market for $380,000. I got multiple offers. Anybody want to guess how much I sold it for?
$420.
$420. You said $420? Exactly. Did you see that listing over there?
No.
$420. It sold 10% more than I had anticipated. Why did that happen? Because there are not a lot of properties out there. And if you buy in good locations, even condos, you can make a decent profit with them. Okay? So I have a couple of ideas for you. If you cannot find properties on the open market, you can buy them at the auction, at the trustee sale. I buy them, but I know what I buy. I'm not buying single-family homes. I'm not buying units. I'm not buying any of that. I'm buying condos in excellent locations. Why am I doing that? Why am I doing that? Why is everybody doing that? Well, because most people are not looking for condos, but I'm telling you, condos in good locations. I want to be very clear with that. Not condos in Temecula, not condos in Lancaster. For now, none of that. Okay, in good locations. Why am I buying condos? Patricia, you know why. I talked about it at the workshop. Why am I buying condos? At the auction. Why? Okay, you forgot? Must have been at the end of the day. Yes, Lynn? You don't have to deal with the exterior of the property, thank you very much. You don't have to deal with the roof situation, the major plumbing situation, the major electrical, earthquake insurance, and any of that stuff. You don't have to paint the exterior of it. When you buy a condo in a good location, the only thing you got to worry about is what? Space. The interior of the unit. And how much does the interior of a unit that is only, let's say the one I bought was 900 square feet. I figured out it's going to cost me $25,000 to fix up. I spent $50,000. It looked beautiful. People are fighting over it. So the bottom line of it is, when you buy a condo as opposed to a separate unit outside on its own, freestanding, you are essentially doing yourself a favor, because if you buy at the auction, folks, at the trustee sale, once you buy it, what happens? Can you take it back? No. Do you have a contingency? No. Okay, can you say, there's something wrong with it, I want my, give me some of my money back? No. Can I get my deposit back? None of that. But you can find great deals at auctions. So what's the problem? Why don't most people buy at the auction? You know why? Because you need all cash. But I've already solved that issue. If you guys come in with 30%, I've already got money behind us, you can fund 70% of the purchase. 70% of the purchase, right there. So in other words, you're here with 30% cashier's check, they're there with 70% of the cashier's check. So you buy one of these nice ones at the auction, fix it up, as long as you have a little bit of, I would say, not quite a little bit, 100,000 spread. This is my magic rule. $100,000 spread. Okay, if you're buying anything in the range of 250 to about 450, okay, in that range, if you're operating in that range, you want $100,000 spread. What do I mean by that? If I'm buying the property at 270, I like to sell it at least for 370. Okay, if I have very little rehab. If I have a lot of rehab, what do I like to do? Take my purchase price, add my rehab to it, and have that spread. The only place I know you can pick up things like that right now is at the trustee's house. You just cannot find them on, REOs are not happening. The banks are getting more money. They want more money than their standard sales right now. How many of you are realtors here? Quite a few of you. Okay, how many of you are mortgage brokers? Don't be shy, Sam. Raise your hand. It's okay. I know you caused the crash of the market, but that's all right. We still love you, man. We still love Sam. Yeah. I mean, this is the funniest part. The funniest thing to me. I don't want to get off track. I want to continue that, and then I'll tell you something about mortgage. Remind me to tell you something about mortgage brokers and the industry, all this craziness. So going back to that. So what you need to do, the only place you can buy them, either a very distressed homeowner, and how you find distressed homeowners, it takes a lot of work. How many of you attended Arturo's workshop on creating partnerships with distressed homeowners? Okay, a few of you did. All right, Arturo talked about, yes, you can find distressed homeowners, but you know what you gotta do? You gotta make a lot of calls. You gotta establish a lot of contacts. You gotta go out there and knock on the doors. You gotta send out a lot of flyers. You gotta pick up the phone and call a whole bunch of people all the time, every day. So what's the alternative? The alternative is either you buy standard sale. Everybody knows what a standard sale is? Like normal homeowners selling their homes, right? Either that at the retail price, right? Retail price, right? Okay. REOs, retail or not? You have all one retail. Okay. How about foreclosures, retail or not? All of them. The only time you can actually get them is before they actually go back to the lender. You got to intercept that line. A, B, C, before it reaches B, you got to intercept that. You got to buy that property right there. If you want to get involved in fix and flip. Okay? So what's the other alternative? Are you guys hot?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yes.
Okay, some of you going like that, some of you are cold, I can't figure it out. All right, can we open that door a little bit? Thank you. So, so here's what I wanted to tell you. The other thing is, if you folks want to buy and hold, the strategy. How many strategies do we have in this market right now? Buy and hold and what? Fix and flip, right? Fix and flip, buy and hold. If you want to buy and hold, fix and flip do not work. Buying from the MLS, 99% of the time. Yes, you're still going to find a few nuggets here and there to be sure, but not as a rule. Yes? Everybody agree with me on that? All right. So if you want to do fix and flips, the auction is the key. Is the best place. But what if you want to do buy and hold? And what do I mean by buy and hold? You buy the property and you want to hold it long term. Okay, if you were to buy property today, what is my definition of long term? If you do not want to lose your money and you want to make money. What's the definition of the long term if you buy today?
3 years.
Give me a number. 5 years? Okay, what else? 5. 5, what else?
7.
I like 7. And I tell you why. Right now the market is being artificially inflated. Same thing. We never learn. We never learn. You know why history repeats itself? Because we don't learn our lessons. Okay, and it keeps repeating itself. And it makes us look like a bunch of fools. Humanity. And we are. Because we hardly ever learn from our mistakes. Okay? So, same thing that happens, now they're playing the same game. Who's playing the game? The big hedge funds that make billions upon trillions of dollars. Okay? And what is make the foreign investors from Asia, from Europe, from South America, from all over the world buying these bulk properties in massive amounts, holding on. So what are they doing? They are manipulating your market for you. They're buying them, they're holding them, their inventory is very, very limited. What's here in the market is driving up the prices, yes or no? Economics 101, supply and demand. When the supply is up, what happens to the demand? Down. What happens to the prices? Down. Okay? So when the supply is limited, what happens to demand? Up. What happens to the prices?
Right.
Up. Economics 101, supply and demand. So what they're doing, these big bozos, what I call them, okay, for a lack of a better term, I don't want to call it really nasty things, although I should. Okay, so manipulation of the market. Now they're driving the prices up, okay, because of the short supply. Everybody with me on that? So what happens down the road in a year or two, when the prices are reaching a level that they're going to make a killing, with these properties, they're going to dump a whole bunch of them in the market. What's going to happen to the prices then? You're going to have a bubble, a little bubble that's going to burst again. And that little bubble is going to burst. It's not going to be as bad as what we just experienced, but we're going to have a downturn again. Everybody with me on that? Okay, so when it goes into a downturn, it's going to take a little while to come up. So why did I say my definition of long-term buy and hold is 7 years? Because I say if you buy right now and plan to hold on 7 years, there is no way you're going to lose no money, you're going to make money. There's just no way around it. Even with the little bubble bursting in the next couple of years, 2 to 3 years. But let me tell you something. Any of you right now that have got some money, you got a couple of years to make it killing. And you don't have to buy very expensive properties. You can buy smaller properties, you can buy smaller units. I put these little ventures together and sell properties like the one we got in Yucca Valley. I've got a property in Yucca Valley, 8 units. I put it under contract for 100 and I'm not going to tell you how much I put it under contract for. But we're selling it for, what is it, Yucca Valley, 199? $199,000 for 8 units is about $25,000 per unit. You know what the rent will be when you fix it up a little bit and it doesn't need a lot? It's going to be $4,800 a month. $4,800 a month versus you paying $200,000 for it. Can you figure out the cash flow on a property like this? The cap rate is 13.5. Okay, you don't need to be creative. You don't have to fly to Phoenix. You don't have to go drive to Las Vegas and drive yourself crazy. It's still Southern California. And let me tell you something about units. When you buy units more than 5 and up, the value of your property is primarily determined not by the comps, but by what? Income. So if you raise the income in this property you buy, you fix it all up, you spend about $3,000 per unit to get it all up, rent it out, fully rented, you're getting your $4,800 a month. Okay, now when you appraise the property, it's going to appraise based on the cap 10, you're going to appraise it roughly about $350,000. And that's only about a year away. 1 year away. Year away. That's what I'm talking to you about. You don't have to be a genius to do that. So all you got to do, if you don't have deals, but you got a little bit of money, come together. Get one of these properties. You got another one. Everybody got this green flyer?
No.
Okay. Well, if you didn't, well, maybe there's one at the back. Okay. Here's one. Right. So what you got to do, folks? What you got to do is you tell us how much money you got. I put a couple of you together, buy one of these properties. We got a mastermind of contractors. We got lenders. We got management companies. You don't need to hold these properties for long term. Why do I say that? I want all of you guys, if you live in LA, buy as close to home as possible. So do a couple of these a little bit farther away, make a little bit of money, come over here and buy a duplex or a triplex. It's better than any of these things that are far away. Not that they won't be affected. Remember what happened to Palm Springs when the prices went up? What happened to the homes over there? Homes that were selling for $600,000, you know what they were selling at the bottom of the market, you know what they were selling for? $150. $200 at the max. You know what they're up to right now? Maybe about $300. Maybe $350. They're still about at least 80% below what they were at that time. What am I trying to tell you? What I'm trying to tell you is the closer you are to LA, the better off you are. Why? Because this place has got an incredible energy, tons of money, and a lot of people that are opportunistic. They want to know, they want to take advantage of the market. And God bless them, more power to them. If they recognize it, they should take advantage of the system. The system is, the beauty of the system we've got, unlike a lot of other places in the world, making money is not reserved for just the big boys. The small guys can make money too. But as long as they know what the hell is going on, as long as they move forward with perception, with discernment, with knowledge, with experience. You move forward, you have a desire to succeed, there is nothing that's stopping you. You can make a lot of money in this market right now, just for the next couple of years. So my suggestion for you, buy anything you can for the flip purposes, but be sure to flip them in the next couple of years. Buy, fix, flip, and then wait a little bit in the next 2 or 3 years as the market, you see that bubble is going to burst. Mark my word, it's gonna little bubble that's gonna burst.
That's right.
Okay, when that happens, then you're gonna buy properties to hold. But if you want to buy and hold right now, don't be selling in 2 or 3 years. And don't be coming back in here and say, oh, son, you said you buy. If you want to buy and hold, you better hold on for at least 7 years. Am I clear on that? Everybody gets that? Are you guys in agreement with what I'm telling you? Don't you feel that's what's happening out there? Let me tell you something, folks. You gotta stay connected with the source of knowledge and information. Why do people go to church? Because they want to be connected to some spirituality, some divinity, some God, whatever they believe in. Why do they join associations? Because they like the brotherhood, sisterhood, knowledge, connection, anything they can do, association. You gotta stay connected, because if you come here and you get involved with real estate, before disaster happens, we give you a heads up. A whole bunch of people at the club, before the 2008, sold their properties. They went ahead and took all of their money out of their credit cards and all of their lines of credit before the bank could stop it. And you know what they're doing right now? They're buying those properties. They're fixing it with the bank's money. Okay, before the banks could get a woof of it and stuff. You know what the banks did, a whole bunch of them after the 08 crash? What did they do? They either canceled the credit lines or what? They lowered them, reduced them, didn't they? A whole bunch of people lost their credit lines. Especially business lines that people were counting on, they lost, and a whole bunch of businesses actually had to go out of business because of this. So if you stay connected, you will be informed. When you play your game, play it. But I'll let you know. Things are happening. Get your property sold or hang on. The market's still good. How do I know that? Because we look at a lot of facts, figures, stats. I talk with a lot of people. I get a bunch of emails. I'm talking with the people in the know. And unless you are getting that information, you could get yourself in trouble. Yes, sir. You have a question?
Yeah. Can
Yes.
you just take 2 minutes in terms of the auctions? Say, which auctions are you referring to? LA County?
Yes.
Some of the other counties?
Yes.
Online auctions?
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's a, everybody got the question? He just wanted me to tell you what auction. The only one I go to is Pomona. Okay? Trustee, LA County Trustee Sale Auction. Okay? In Pomona. That's what we got a program, it's called the Pomona program. So if you check our website, you see the Pomona program. All we do is we take these properties down at the auction. Am I doing all of that myself? Do you think I'm some kind of a dumb, stupid kind of a guy to do that? This country, the beauty of it is you can delegate to people to do stuff for you with a little bit of money. That's what you got to learn. Everybody's trying to be a millionaire and succeed, and they're just doing everything themselves. How in the hell are you going to succeed if you keep doing everything yourself? You got to delegate. Here's my webmaster. Here's my club director, Amanda Bennett. Robbie Diggs, by the way, great webmaster. Any of you guys want to work on website? This guy is the man. Really. I mean, you can look at my website. And the social media expert. These guys are awesome. You got to get other people. You got to have a mastermind to help you out. So the point being, I pay money to take the property down by somebody who knows the business. Any of you guys been to the Pomona auction? It's like a shark pit. I'm kidding. It's a shark pit. And all of these guys, anybody who's dressed up in ties are newcomers. The ones that are there all the time, Hawaiian t-shirts or shirts, shorts. These are the people that buy, they know it like the back of their hands. You cannot compete with these people. So what do? I use their system, look at their properties, evaluate the ones I want. I give them the bid on the properties I want them to bid for me on. They have a driver, they go buy the property, give me a report, and when they're at the auction, real time, they're calling me. Sam, the one you wanted to pay $250,000 for is going for $255,000. That's the condo I bought in West Hollywood. I said, go to 56. 57, 58, 60, 65, 68, 68, 268, 500 is what I got. Because I knew I was going to make money on that. So real time, I use their services. I give them some money. If I'm making $100,000, after all my expenses, I'm making $70,000, $60,000. Can I afford to pay him $5,000 or $6,000 or not? Okay, can I afford to borrow some money and pay a hard money lender 12% and pay a few points or not? Yes. Because at the end of the game, when you put it all together, you put in $50,000 or 60 or 70 and you walked away with 120. Is it worth it or not? What kind of return did you get on your investment? In 6 months, not 1 year. It's almost over 100%. That's the key issue. Yes, sir?
Sam, do they provide you the list of properties?
Yes.
Ahead of time?
Yes. You get the list of the properties, 48 minutes, 48 hours, 48 minutes, I'm crazy. 48 minutes, 48 hours prior to the sale, okay? So you have time. And if you take one of our courses, Pritam, where are you? Okay, did you take the basic mentoring program? Did I teach you how to evaluate properties? How well is it working for you? Okay, so, yeah, a lot of people have taken. Leslie, how was it for you, hon?
It's excellent.
Excellent. Did you figured out how to evaluate properties?
It's very efficient and quick.
Very efficient and quick. So you learn that. Once you have that and the internet is at your disposal, thank you, Leslie. Thank you for that. Okay, so when you have that at your disposal and you know how to evaluate properties, look at the list of properties that are going on the auction, evaluate them. I teach you rehab costs, I teach you the valuation. Once you have all of that, you give me maximum bid. Or to them, I want to bid this much for this property. They keep those, they send you pictures of the property. Some of the drivers go by, knock on the doors, talk to the tenants. They'll even give you a report. Is it vacant or is somebody living there? Valuable information. I knew on the condo, the owner had already died. Not over there at the hospital, luckily. Otherwise, you're going to have to file about 200 disclaimers and all kinds of disclosures if somebody died, as if death is something strange, you know. Who was it that said, Benjamin Franklin, there are two certain things in life? What? Death and taxes. Okay? So you died, big deal. You think you're going to go away? Well, it's okay if you think that. I don't, because it doesn't make me feel good. I want to come back. And you know what? I'm coming back. How do I know that? Because genius shows me that you got to live multiple lives. Otherwise, we wouldn't have Einsteins, Mozarts, Beethovens. We wouldn't have any of these geniuses. Shakespeare, Rumi, any of these masters. How did they learn all of that in one lifetime? How do they play the piano so perfectly at the age of 6? And they're deaf. Where is that information coming from? I mean, think about that. So I choose to think that you're coming back. So die, death, big deal. So the person that died, they knocked on the door, they talked to the neighbors, Sam, the property is vacant. It's beautiful when the property is vacant. You know why? You don't have to give them any cash to leave. You don't have to kick their butts out of there by unlawful detainers or whatever. But I found something wonderful in this economy. Money talks more than ever. A whole bunch of these people that are occupying these units unlawfully, you know what they're motivated by? Just a few $1,000. Okay? So do you give them the money right off the bat before they leave? When do you give it to them? You give it to them right when they're putting all the last pieces in the truck, right? You got a locksmith over there changing the lock. Everybody with me on that? That's when they get. And they don't get cash. What do they get? Even a cashier. Everybody with me on that? So that's how you guys figure, how you get a lot of that. Oh my God, somebody lives on the property. Big deal. Somebody lives on the property, you can kick him out. You got a system. All you got to do is to calculate the cost of your legal cost, the unlawful detainment, and the holding cost, maybe a couple of months. But just because you got 2 months of holding, and just because you got to pay an attorney to kick them out, you're not going to invest? Are you some kind of a maniac? You don't want to do that. You want to get into the business. I can't tell you how important it is in this market to get in. Do something. If you ain't got the money, go raise the money. Go raise opium. I mean, not opium. I knew you guys were going to laugh at that. I said that intentionally. Okay. When you say opium fast, it's like opium, right? So I'm not encouraging you guys to go raise opium. If you want to do that, you go to Afghanistan. Okay? And even now, when we're there, there's still a whole bunch of opium that's going all over the world. Okay? So, not opium. What is opium? Other people's money. Other people's money. Okay? How do you raise that money? By just coming together, a couple of you do one deal, make it into your portfolio. I've got a way for you to do that. And then go to talk to people and show them how much money you make. You know what motivates people? Seeing the check that you made $30,000 profit on. That will motivate them. So if you don't have the money, go find it. Some of you guys have got excellent credit. The banks are loosening up a little bit. Start a business, or if you already have an existing business, deposit some money in that bank. Okay, make good friends with the officer. If you got good FICO score, you know what's going to happen? They're going to give you a line of credit. I went to US Bank, I deposited $50,000. I told the guy, I said, give me a line of credit. He says, how much do you want? I said, 200,000. So I can't do that without documentation. You know, everything is got to be documented. I said, well, how much can you give me? My FICO is over 800. He said, how much can you give me if I put 50? He says, maximum 50. I said, give it to me. I got 50,000 just like that. Twice signature. That's easy. You got 20, go borrow 20 from somebody, put in the bank with your high FICO score, get a $10,000 line of credit. Have that 10,000. You know how you raise that line of credit? Borrow a little, pay it back. Borrow a little, pay it back. In about 6 months, they do a reevaluation. You go from 10 to 15. Then you go to 20. In about 6 months, a year and a half, you're going to have $30,000, $40,000 line of credit. In this country, because our system is a capitalist system, banks rule. Okay, they're running the show. Okay, so which means, and because your relatives don't want to loan you money, because you know there's an expression, I have a good friend, he says, friends to the end, loan me 10, that's the end. Have you heard that? Friends to the end, loan me 10, that's the end. So that's his motto. He says anybody who wants to borrow from him, he's going to recite this little poem. Friends to the end, loan me 10, that's the end, all right? Because relatives usually have a very low image of you, and not just you, I mean me too, everybody. Okay, we are the weakest in front of our family members, your spouse, your kids, and next to them, your relatives, yes or no? Because they know all of your weaknesses. Especially your kids, okay, and your spouse. They know all of your weaknesses, and they try to push them all the time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
They asked Lily Tomlin one time. It says, "Oh, Lily Tomlin made a." You know Lily Tomlin?
Yes.
She's very witty. She says something like, "Do you know do you know why your parents or your kids know how to push your buttons so well? Because they installed them." So it's like an installation before the use, you know. So they installed them in your relationship with them over the years, and they know how to push them. So you don't want to play that game at all. It's not good. Okay. So far so good.
Yes.
Am I going too fast? The reason I'm going too fast is because I want to give time to our lovely speaker over here. I'm just going to finish up. I'm sorry, Carla. You know what? When I talk, I can't stop, baby. I've got a serious problem in that area. Okay, so we talked about the membership, mentorship. Everybody's got these flyers. 2 properties we got. Check them out. Give us a call. Next month, March 27th, we have our very popular power panels. For those of you who have not been to power panels, they're the best that this club offers. By the way, our motivation here is to provide you with the best education, and the power panels are the best. All education, 3 panelists will sit here, and these are from real estate related industries, appraisers, attorneys, CPAs, you know, home inspectors, investors. They share their experiences. And I will be asking them questions, so will you. So bring your friends, please come March 27th. We're going to be here. And then what else have we got? Let's see. Oh, we got to talk about the properties. And also, if you guys want hard money loans for your investments, I know that hard money is also becoming easy. I had a gentleman from a very large private money group that came to my office. We sat and talked last week. He went ahead and called me today and said, Sam, we've got a great program for investors right now. It is not conventional loan, and it's not a completely hard money loan. It's like in between. The rates are between 7.5% to 8.5%. You put down about 35% maximum, okay? You pay about 3 to 4 points, all right? But the rate's so attractive, and you get them for about a year, or sometimes 2 years. These loans are awesome for 2 purposes. One, to buy the property right off the bat and not pay 12%. And 2, for those of you who've already bought, you already got high rates, and want to hold on to your property, refinance your 12% into 7.5% to 8.5%. You see what I'm talking about? So the market is loosening up a little bit. Use that to your advantage. The flyer is in the back, or maybe you guys got the flyer. It's a blue flyer. So we got that. The business cards are on the back. Let's see. Do I want to say anything else before I drive everybody crazy here? All right. So let's see. Flyer, panel. All right. Okay. I think I'm done. Carla, are you there? Okay.
I'm here.
No, there you are. So before you show up, okay, let me tell you a little bit about Carla. I heard a lot of good things about her. I think Amanda, our club director, touched on it a little bit. You don't want to call her tax expert, is okay. She doesn't proclaim to be one. But what she is a strategist. And that's what's important. Especially after the so-called fiscal cliff. Remember all the disasters we were supposed to experience? We are so good at freaking the hell out of people. We are so awesome with that. This fear drives the entire economy. Fear of losing your job, your life, your car, buy insurance, buy insurance, buy insurance. Fear of your body going down the tube. Instead of meditation, eating good food, instead of all the good stuff. Okay, instead of that, get a health insurance. Pay this. We are so good. Oh, the world's coming to the end. Remember year 2000? Sure. The world's supposed to come to the end. All the stuff that people bought, everything, all the crazy investments. We're good at that. Don't be driven by fear. Okay? Because that is just going to, it's going to, what's the word I'm looking for? It's going to incapacitate you. It's going to paralyze you. You do not want to be ruled by fear. Okay? Have faith. Have faith in you. Have faith in the universe. And have faith in whatever creator you believe in that you put you here. The creator that put you here, whatever that you believe in, is the one who's going to protect you. So don't have no fear. Just go out there and do what you're supposed to do. Okay? And Carla is a tax strategist. What she wanted to talk about is essentially to give you the strategies that are required for you to be successful in real estate. She's been doing it for quite some time. She's the founder and CEO of Cohesive Tax, right? You're in San Diego?
In Orange County.
And Orange County. And please help me welcome Carla Dennis.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How is everyone?
Hi, Carla.
How are you?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, can you get me all mic'd up here?
Yes.
I don't think I really need a mic because I have a big mouth.
No, but you do because we're actually...
Yeah, it's okay. All right, perfect.
Good.
I'm great. Is everybody good?
Yes.
So Sam talked about, absolutely, he talked about death and taxes, and he mentioned that he believes that people come back, right? Well, I believe that you can minimize taxes, that you don't have to deal with taxes like a lot of people are afraid of. I believe that there is a way for you to reduce your taxes, and it's really about understanding a concept. The concept that I'm going to teach you this evening is going to really open up your eyes and educate you on what you need to be thinking about. I can stand before you and I can talk about tax law all night. We'll be here until tomorrow this time. But what I want to give you is a concept. And you can walk out of that door understanding this concept, and I think we hit a home run this evening. So let me give you a little bit about my background. Is that okay?
Yep.
All right. So I am Carla Dennis. That's what everybody continues to tell me. I am an author and a speaker. I've written 2 books. My latest book is Tax Storm. I am the founder and CEO of Cohesive. Cohesive is a national tax strategy firm. We do prepare tax returns. We're licensed in all 50 states. I am not a CPA. I am a licensed enrolled agent. Does anybody know what that means? I'm so glad you don't, because that gives me an opportunity to tell you. An enrolled agent is an individual that has gone to school, they've gotten their accounting degree, but instead of sitting for the Certified Public Accounting exam, they sit for the EA exam, which is administered by the U.S. Treasury Department. It is 2 days, 8 hours per day, 16 hours of complete tax law. Individuals, corporations, partnerships, S corps, you name it, it's on there, all 50 states. It is grueling, but I chose to be a tax strategist, so that's the license that I have. It allows me to be licensed in all 50 states, represent clients before IRS, and I love it. Above and beyond that, I do have my undergrad degree in accounting. I have a master's in tax law. I learned the law side before I learned how to prepare tax returns. And I think that that's really important because what I'm going to tell you strictly comes from my knowledge from the law, comes from my knowledge from representing clients before the IRS, and not necessarily my clients, but I represent for a lot of CPAs, a lot of firms who don't represent their clients before IRS. And it's an art in itself. I'm a graduate of the National Tax Practice Institute, and that's where you go and you learn how to defend your clients in court. It's kind of like when you're dealing with the IRS, it's like who's the biggest bully in the room, so to speak, right? And I do kickboxing, so it doesn't bother me at all. I have national clientele. I have clientele in all 50 states. People fly in to come to our company. They don't have to, but they choose to. and I enjoy working with them. So that's a little bit about my background, just so you can kind of understand where I'm coming from. I think it's very important for you to understand that. With that being said, I think real estate is a great money-making tool. How many of you agree with that? Okay. Not only am I an accountant, but I'm also an investor. I personally own 57 parcels of property. I have a different mix. The majority of them now are commercial properties. I do have some units, duplexes. I still have some 2 to 4 still left in our portfolio, but I own a lot of real estate. So I eat and sleep real estate. You can best believe I eat and sleep real estate taxes, okay? Very important for me to learn all the rules and regulations behind that. I was really enjoying Sam's conversation because I'm an investor. So as I'm sitting there listening, I'm going, okay, when is the next trip to the courthouse steps to get some property that I'm about due? And if I don't have anything to escrow, I get nervous. That's just kind of how it's been. So I've made a lot of money in the real estate market. So being connected with someone who's giving you that education on what you need to know about right now, just being a market of buy and flip market, is really key so that when you go out there, you don't go out there and make mistakes. Because we don't have time anymore to make financial mistakes. How many of you have money to throw away? I didn't think so. So we don't have any time out there to make mistakes. So what's going to be real important is that we stay educated so that we do not make mistakes. And when Sam talked about people can make money, that buying real estate is not for the people that have all the money, that people who have a small amount of money can get together, pool their money together to purchase property. Understanding tax law is just not for the Mitt Romneys of the world. They're not the only people who can minimize their taxes. But what's the difference between maybe them and you? What do you think the difference is? What did you say?
Knowledge.
What's your name?
Tim.
All right, Tim. Knowledge what? Who was over here?
I said a few zeros.
Yeah, okay, maybe, right? A few zeros. What else?
Attorneys.
Attorneys. Okay. What else?
They know how to minimize their tax risk.
They know how to minimize their taxes, or they're smart enough to get with somebody who does, right? It's like you don't have to have all the knowledge. When Sam was talking about purchasing real estate, he was saying that you don't have to try to garner all the knowledge. But what you need to is be aware and follow someone that has the knowledge. Does that make sense to you? That's what we need to do. But when it comes to taxes, a lot of times, people kind of put their head in the sand. One of my favorite clients who sits in this room, which I will not even look at, he always says he loves to see me, but he feels like it's a dental appointment. When he leaves out, he's always laughing with me, right? Because I try to ease that pain for people. So you really want to get with somebody that knows what it is that they're doing. So I love real estate, and I think it's a great way to make money. The tax advantages of real estate are golden. They are golden to me. Like, if you really want to knock your taxes down low, you can do it with real estate. I love nothing more than putting together my tax return. We own a few companies. There's income over there, and then I do the real estate side of it, and then the income just kind of floats away. It is a beautiful day, right? I love a day like that, when I can make it just disappear and not have to pay taxes. Now, I'm not a tax protester. I believe in paying my fair share of taxes, but I have a philosophy. I don't believe in leaving Uncle Sam a tip. Okay, if I'm leaving Uncle Sam a tip, I want to know about it. So how many of you are leaving Uncle Sam a tip and you don't know about it? Okay, at least you're honest, Fred, all right? At least you're honest. Fred's honest. He's leaving Uncle Sam a tip, and he doesn't know he's leaving a tip. So knowledge is power. So let's talk about some of the tax advantages. Passive income is one of the biggest tax advantages of real estate to me. The fact that you can have income coming in that really, depending on the type of model you have set up, you're not really doing anything to earn that income, right? So I want to establish the difference between passive income and active income. Does anybody know that?
Yes.
Okay, who will help me explain that?
Passive income is what the IRS terms for cash flow is what we would say is active.
Okay, so passive income is an IRS term, but what else about passive income?
Active income, you have to get up in the morning and go do something to get. Passive income, you can be sleeping until you make money.
And the checks can show up, right? That's a good way of putting it, right? What else?
Active income is a trade-off for time for money.
Time for money.
Income
family is money.
Okay, so you're right. So passive income is income that truly you don't have to trade time for money. You really are trading return on your investments and things of that nature. Now, let me just tell you a little funny story. I have 4 sons, believe it or not. I have 4 wonderful sons. And I'm an over-the-top mother. So when my oldest son went to college, I said, whatever you need, son, you're going to go to college. Anything you need, you call mama, don't call daddy, because daddy's probably not going to do it, but mama's going to show up, right? So anyway, I tell him to go to college, and I get him his little computer, his little IBM computer, and send him away with all of his good stuff. He wasn't in college 30 days when he called me and said, Mom, you know what? All of my friends are using Macs. I'm like, what? Because all my friends have a Mac computer now. He goes, if you could just transfer me over a little bit of money. I go, you haven't, what do you mean transfer you money? What are you going to earn that? I'm like, well, Mom, you said you'd do anything for me to succeed in college. So what I ended up doing, I transferred him over $1,500 to buy a Mac. Was that passive or active income for him?
Yeah, passive.
Passive?
Active.
For me, active, right? Because he worked me over as usual. Sam talks about pushing those buttons. He knows how to push my buttons. He got me, okay? He definitely got me. All right. Also, great accelerated wealth through real estate, right? So that accelerated wealth, one of the things you heard tonight was that hold your property for 7 years, then sell. What's happening during that 7-year time period? What's happening? Depreciating? Appreciating. Getting that equity going, right? Is equity good? Right. So you can buy real estate, get a good tenant, let it sit, and you got equity building up in that property. That's a great thing because as that equity is building, it's not showing up on your tax return anywhere, correct? All right. Depreciation is another good thing about owning rental real estate. How many of you here now own real estate? Okay, so a lot of you are owning real estate right now. And are you doing standard depreciation on your real estate, 27.5 years, your commercial property, 39.5 years? Have you looked into cost segregation, where you can isolate some components within your real estate to expense it out sooner? Some of you? You've done that? Anybody else? Okay, that's something that you can look at. If you need to lower your taxes, you can do what we call cost segregation. Now, do you always want to do that? Who said no? No, why? At least you're honest. Yeah, it kind of depends on your unique situation, right? If you're in a situation where you can use additional write-off to take down your income, then you may want to do it. But if you're in a situation where you know that, I don't need additional write-offs this year, maybe I want to string it out longer, it kind of depends on which way to go with it. Yes?
So when you look at the Schedule E, what are the areas that you can do cost segregation on? Do you capital improvements or what do you?
Well, it depends on what your capital improvements are, how you break them down. But when you depreciate property, obviously, let's say if you buy a single family, that's going over 27.5. If you isolate purchasing, like, for example, some appliances in the property, some additional improvements to the property, we can take those over a shorter period of time. 15 years, 5 years, 7 years. It just depends on where we need to go with it. So we have to make wise choices because once we choose our depreciation method, we're locked with that. Okay? All right. Can your rental income offset, your rental losses offset your earned income? Yes, right? How many of here are you in here losing your rental losses? That your income's too high, you can't take your income down with your rental losses, okay? So if your income goes over $150,000 per year, married, filing joint are over 100 to 125 as a single individual, your rental losses are not going to offset your earned income. All right? What's really important, though, is to know that there are strategies to get your earned income to take your, to use your real estate to take your earned income down. I don't know if you looked at those strategies or not, but there's a strategy where you can do that, okay? Because most people that are buying real estate, at some point, your income is up. And if your end game is to keep your taxes low, you may be losing your write-offs and have what we call suspended losses. Now, when I see a person's tax return and I see passive suspended losses, meaning that you're showing your rental income and you're taking expenses against it, but then you're netting down to maybe zero because you can't take the loss, even if it's a loss on paper. You might not be taking it because of where your income is. No, there's a strategy associated with that. I was dealing with a client a couple of days ago that we went back and amended her tax returns, and when we amended her tax returns, she got back $28,000 because she didn't understand how to get that done. That's very important to understand what you need to do to get that done, okay? So if you're in that position, if your accountants are saying you can't take your rental losses, they're suspended, you need to know that there's a strategy out there to avoid that, all right? Are you guys with me on that? That's important because you don't want to lose your write-offs. All right, also, how many of you have done a 1031 tax-deferred exchange? Very good, very good. Does everyone know what that is? Okay, some of you know? Let me kind of explain that. So if you have a piece of real estate that you're currently selling and it's profitable and you want to buy additional real estate, you can use what we call Code Section 1031 to defer the tax if you buy some additional real estate at equal or greater value.
Like for like.
Exactly, like for like, very important. Or you can split. That's kind of how I got my portfolio. When I bought property, when it came up in appreciation, I sold one, bought two. Sold two, bought four. Sold four, bought 8. So that's how I got it done. So we want to be very conscientious of how we can preserve our income because the tax bill is going to get heavier and heavier. The fiscal cliff that we had and then we didn't have, we fell over the cliff and then they pulled us back. I don't know how that happens. But I will just tell you, I was the person up at night reading the law because I wanted to know what was in the law, what was in the bill. And I'm just going to tell you right now, as we're standing here today, we're going to have a major tax overhaul. The people that we have in office right now, they don't have to get elected again because their term is up. They're going to push for a major tax overhaul. What do you think is going to happen?
Things are going to go away.
What's going to happen?
Things are going to go away.
A lot of things that are going to go away. What did you say?
We're going to lose a lot of deductions.
We're going to lose a lot of deductions.
That's right. That's
I just
right.
want to add something. As you're talking about the tax-deferred exchange, one of the mistakes that I made some years ago, and I lost a lot as a result of it, is I didn't think that I needed to put that money away. So one thing that has to be understood is that you cannot put your hands on that
That's
money
right.
at all.
You got to go to like a third-party accommodator. The cash cannot come to you. It can't come in your pocket. But even if you're, let's say, for example, you do a tax-deferred exchange, and let's say maybe your gain of cash is moving is 100 grand. And maybe you say to yourself, you know what, I only want to take 90 toward the other property. You can pull down 10. You can take some money, but the key is the money you take, you're going to be taxed on. That's the key. So don't think you can't do a 1031 exchange and get money out of that transaction. Sometimes, depending on how we set your taxes up, you can take money out and not pay taxes on it. Because we need to have a strategy on the back end to alleviate the tax. Yes?
Question, on the taxes on the tax exchange. If you buy a property for 500 and you sell it for 500, there is no tax deferred exchange, right? The tax deferred exchange only comes when you are making a profit when you sell.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, but
What about if you buy it for 500, sell it for 500, but you build up a lot more equity in that 5 year period, is the equity taxable?
yes, because that's the key. What you buy the property for starts out to be what we call your cost basis. But over time, we're depreciating that cost basis. We're recovering that basis through tax depreciation. So your basis is starting to drop. When you sell, it's not what you bought it for, it's your cost basis at the day of sale that we have to look at. So you can still be in a situation where you may want to do a tax deferred exchange. Or do we do a tax deferred exchange? Is it worth it? Do we need to do that? Or is there another strategy we can put on the tax return to where when that $100,000 comes on the return, it's not going to get slammed with taxes? Okay? There's a lot of different things that we can do for that. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Depends. Okay, so I'm going to speak to that for a second. So she talked about debt relief. And there may be a lot of you in here that have short sold property, thinking about short selling property. I have tell you, it has been a crime going on for the last couple of years. A lot of people that come to me, I'm looking at their tax returns, and their tax returns have not been prepared correctly. A lot of people have short sold property, and they are having to report that cancellation of debt. They're having to report that cancellation of debt. Now, if it's your primary residence, there's exclusion rules out there. If it's investment property, there's no exclusion rules except for, were you insolvent on the day of sale? Were you insolvent on the day of sale? Not insolvent for bankruptcy purposes, but insolvent for tax purposes. And if you were insolvent on the day of sale, then you do not have to be taxed on that income. The income becomes reportable, but not taxable. Okay? That is huge. Our office has probably amended thousands of tax returns because people don't get that. And it's just a kind of a tragedy that people don't understand that concept. So if you're in a short sale position, or know someone that's short selling property where you're going to owe the bank money, and the bank is going to send you one of those nice little 1099s with a C next to it that says $60,000 that you all of a sudden have to report on your tax return, and you never receive that money, that's sort of a heart attack waiting to happen, right? Because it stresses people out. Like, I get people coming in, that's the last envelope they give me, is that 1099. I'm like, what is that you're still holding? I'm like, oh, this thing came, Carla. I'm like, what is that thing? I open it up, I'm like, okay, let's talk about it. All right? So there are strategies to alleviate that stress. So if anybody of you are in that position, just know you can get out of that position by knowing the right thing. Okay? That's very important. Who mentioned that? Short sales. Thank you you brought that up, I think. That was really good on the short sale side of the equation. And should you short sell property? Are there times when you should short sell your real estate? What is it going to look like on your taxes? I will tell you that from a tax perspective, short selling a piece of property may be your best friend. And I'm going to tell you why. Let's just think about this for a second. When you short sell a piece of property, there's two sides to the equation. It is the sale of the asset, for example, that maybe you bought for $200,000, and maybe now it's underwater, right? You owe more than it's worth. You owe the bank, say, maybe $250,000, and now you can only sell the property for $150,000, right? But you bought it for $200,000. You're selling it for $150,000. What's happening there? If you bought it for $200,000, a loss. A loss, right? A loss. What happens with a loss on a piece of investment property? Hold on a second. What happens to a loss on a piece of investment property? What happens to income on a piece of investment property? Right? It's a write-off. So it becomes a write-off for you. So when clients come to me and say, Carla, I'm scared to short sell this property, I'm like, hold on a second. If you short sell that property, you may end up with a loss that offsets your income, takes your income down to where maybe you don't even end up paying any taxes that year. So a short sale at the right time can be your best friend. You just got to know when to do it. Okay, does that make sense? All right, tax reporting. This is just something I want to touch on. If you have real estate, at some point your real estate should show up on your tax return. At some point, if you're making some income off of it, you bought some property, it needs to show on your tax return. I have a status story, a client, they had multiple real estate, different LLCs set up, and their 11-unit building fell off their tax return in 2006. It just fell off. The accountant that they transferred to forgot to put it on their tax return. That building with the depreciation had a lot of depreciation. So what happened to that client? They overpaid their taxes since 2006. So just be mindful to try to, on some cursory level, to understand your tax return. Don't assume everything's there. Okay, so at least look for addresses. Most of you know your properties by address. Okay, right? I know my properties by street address or HOA community that they may be or not in. So at least look for addresses. That's important for you, that your properties don't start disappearing off your tax return. Okay, it has happened, and people don't know it's happened. That's really important. Is real estate the only way to lower your taxes?
No.
No, right? There's other things you can do to lower your taxes. There's so many things out there that you need to be doing. And you may think, okay, Carla, well, how come I never heard of this type of stuff before? And I'm going to say to you, I have no idea, because I go around preaching it. There's so many different things that you can do to lower your taxes. So I'm going to introduce you to a concept called strategic tax planning. Are you guys with me?
Yes.
This is totally about planning. Now, we have hefty tax bills. If you can buy property, you probably have a pretty hefty tax bill at some point, right? We spend more time going out to look for a car, searching the internet, Facebooking, than we do getting our taxes done. Why is that?
They're more fun. It's not, yeah, it's just a sort
Good.
of, nobody likes it.
Really? I have my clients, they all laugh when they come out of my office. What? Right? You know what it is? It's because we don't enjoy it. Because we fear the unknown. We know we got to pay. We know some money's coming out of our pocket. So we fear it. Anything that we fear, we run away from, right? But if you can get some knowledge and kind of open up those gates a little bit, you will no longer fear it and you will understand how it works. So I'm just going to give you a little tidbit of understanding. There is no one-size-fits-all to do things. I'm just going to tell you that. So when clients come into me and they say, Carla, well, my neighbor's doing this, well, my brother, he and I, we do exactly the same thing, we make exactly the same income, we have exactly the same job. I'm going to tell you, you don't. You don't. People say that all the time. There's no one-size-fits-all. So this is the analogy I want you to take. Taxes are like childbirth. I've had 4 kids and everyone has been different, okay? That's what I want you to remember. And men, those of you who are in here, you probably know a woman that had a baby and she'll tell you. It is no joke. It's like childbirth. It's all different scenarios. So there's always something in the tax code for you. So let me tell you a little story. I enjoy reading tax code. That's what I do for fun. Some of you do different things for fun. But for me, reading 80,000 pages of the tax code is what I do for fun. I enjoy it. Code, regs. And then you say, wow, let me tell you what happens. I travel a lot. When I'm on an airplane and I have the tax code sitting next to me, what do you think happens to people trying to take that middle seat? What do you think happens? Right? Do they want to take that middle seat?
You've got a lot of extra room.
Right, I got a lot of extra room because either they think I work for IRS and they're scared to sit next to me on a cycle. So either way, I get a seat next to me by myself, right? So the good thing about the tax code is there are golden nuggets in the tax code for everybody in this room, every single situation. I will just tell you that. There are. And just because you don't know about them, you're not utilizing them. The tax code is not just for the big business owner that has billions and billions of dollars or zeros and zeros behind in their checking account. It's for everybody. And if you own real estate, you're in business. Do you realize that?
Yep.
If you own real estate, it is a business. Don't get attached to those properties. Do not take them personal. You are in business. So if you're in business, I'm just going to tell you the tax code is wide open for you. There's so many things that you can be doing to help you reduce your taxes. It's really, how much more time you guys have? We can be here on that. There's just so many things I can tell you about that. So I'm going to talk to you about tax strategy. So when you go out, and Sam talked about, he has a strategy that when you're buying property, there should be $100,000 spread, right? There's a strategy to everything you do. When you came here this evening, did anybody use strategy? How you're going to migrate the freeway? How you're going to get here? You're using strategy in everything. The thing that I want you to start using strategy with is your taxes. We need to start thinking from a different angle. So I'm not talking about tax preparation. I'm talking about from January 1st to December 31st. That's the time for you to strategize your taxes for 2013. Right now, we're in compliance season for 2012. Are you guys with me? We're filing tax returns for 2012. The guillotine fell on December 31st for a lot of people. So whatever it is, it is. We can try to triage a lot of it, but what it is, okay? So this type of planning and thinking has to transpire throughout the year. You guys with me on that? So I want you guys to follow a little bit of an analogy for me. There are 3 pillars of a tax strategy. And if you can understand this when you walk out of here this evening, I'm going to feel golden. There's 3 pillars of a tax strategy. Pillar number 1 is review the past situation. Pillar number 2 is assess the current situation. Okay? And pillar number 3 is implement the right strategy. Those are 3 things that I want you to remember. Review the past, assess the current situation, implement the right strategy. You guys got it? Who can repeat it to me? They have to wake up, right? Okay, can you guys repeat that to me? What are the 3 pillars of attack strategy? Review the past. Okay, you guys got that? All right. Sam, the next time you see him, I want you to ask him that question. So let's talk about the 3 pillars of attack strategy. What is that, Carla? What does that mean? So I'm going to give you an analogy. I told you I have 4 sons, and my sons play football. So I'm a football mom. Okay? I'm a baseball mom too, but I'm a football mom. Can anybody in here tell me the difference between a referee and a coach? Yes.
A referee is somebody that regulates the game, enforces the rules. A coach, excuse me, is someone that tries to get their team to win, inspires their players.
Okay, so referee knows all the rules, okay, and the coach inspires their players. All right, I kind of like that. What else? Can anybody give me another definition? Fred, you killing me tonight. All right, there's 2 good answers. The coach makes strategy, right? The coach's job is trying to figure out how to get their team to win. Because I'm telling you, it's all about the win. Who was that coach of the Lakers that got replaced? Yeah. Right? Why did he get replaced, the Laker coach? Because they were losing. So it's all about the win, right? So strategize is what a coach does. A coach is looking for the angle, looking for the strategy, looking for what's the strength in their players. That's what the coach is looking for. That's very important that you understand that. So let's move forward with this analogy. Okay, coaches strategize. Now, these are my kids in the picture. The one in the middle is my 2nd oldest son right here. So I'm going to tell you guys a little story. We were getting ready to have our playoff games. My son was in high school. They were getting ready to have their biggest playoff game, a championship game against a rival school, okay? So let me tell you what the coach did. You guys follow me. The coach had to review the past with the kids, right? So with your taxes, can I really effectively do your taxes without looking at your past tax returns? Absolutely not. I would be doing you an injustice. I don't know if you already have property, if your depreciation has been taken correctly, where your income was, have you been audited? Just, I need to see what I'm dealing with, right? What does a coach do when it's time for their football game to happen? What did you say? Motivate them. They look at what worked, what didn't work, right? They look at game tapes, right? Have you guys ever heard of that? They look at game tapes. My kids come home, the best time in my life is when they come home right before a game and they have tapes they got to watch and they're quiet. They just don't watch hours and hours of tapes. I love it. I can get peace. The games are on Friday night, Thursday night, I'm in heaven. Okay? They're going to review the past. They want to see what the past players are doing. So I got to know what has happened on your tax return in the past. Have you ever filed insolvency? Have you ever sold property? Why is this rental property that you sold 3 years ago still sitting on your tax return? What's happening here? Is there some type of divorce decree? Can you claim your children? Can you not? Have you maxed out on your credits before? It's very important that the person doing your tax return or putting together a strategy understands where you're coming from. Do you guys agree with that? Yes. All right, what's the second thing I told you in the 3 pillars? All right, you guys are listening. All right, assess the current situation. So on game day, for 7 o'clock games, Friday night under lights, they have the kids show up at 1 o'clock. Why is that? What'd you say, Howie?
See how they're feeling, doing, playing.
Seeing how they're feeling, doing, playing. What else? What'd you say? Warm-ups. See who's throwing up because they're nervous, right? See what kid's not going to show up. See which mother that's coming to say my kid better play. That's not me, by the way. It's all of that, right? So I have to assess your current situation. If you want to do strategy, I got to know where you are. What are we benchmarking against? What is your income right now? How many of you know your 2013 tax bill? You know your 2013 tax bill? Okay. How many other know their 2013 tax bill? Okay, I know my 2013 tax bill because I already forecasted what my numbers are going to look like. That is such an important number for you to know. Why is that an important number to know? Anybody? 2013, I said 2013, you guys are looking perplexed. I did say 2013, not 2012. I said 2013. This is February 27th. We're almost 2 months of the year, and you don't have a barrier for where your 2013 tax bill is going to be. Okay? All right, she's going, no way, but you need to know. Why do we need to know?
Whether it's a short sale or not.
Whether it's short sale or not, time to plan, to understand what I got going. This is my tax bill, at least I have it now. Even if I can't pay it by the end of the year, at least I know what that number is. Maybe if I know what that number is, I can start chunking away at the number, right? You want to know that number. And is that number may move throughout the year? Right? It may move throughout the year. So what are you going to do if it moves? You update the number, right? But you want to know the number. Because if you don't know the number, it's like driving your car without your dashboard on. You don't even know how fast you're going. I don't know how fast I'm going when the dashboard is on, by the way. But you don't even know how fast you're going, right? You need to know that number. That's your benchmark. You want to know your tax bill today. All right? Very important. So I challenge all of you to get that number in your head. So they're showing up. The coach has these kids showing up to assess his situation. Who are his players today? Who is going to be his kicker? Who's throwing up? Who needs to calm down? Who needs to be taped up? It's very important to know that information. Are you guys following this concept? Yes. Okay. What's the very next thing? Once you know that, what can you do then?
Implement the right strategy.
The right strategy. See, that's the key. Not the wrong strategy. Not Peggy's strategy. Not Fred's strategy. Violet's strategy to give it to you. But implement the right strategy for you. So when people come up to me a lot of times and will say, hey, Carla, should I be an LLC? Should I be an S-Corp? Should I short sell property? You know what I say to them?
Let me see your past.
Yeah.
I tell them I don't know. Maybe all of those things. But I don't know. Because I'm doing you an injustice to advise you unless I really see what's going on. So, oh, but my accountant, he just told me, I just called me, he just said to do an LLC. Really? I don't know if that's right for you. Okay, I don't want you making mistakes because we don't have time to recover. We spend so much money fixing it. It's unbelievable the amount of money spent fixing situations. So what you want to do is get the right strategy from the very beginning. Is your strategy need to change sometimes? Maybe. But we start off with our benchmark, and then if we have to course correct or change something, because everybody here is going to buy real estate, right? And then you're going to say, Carla, I bought this real estate. Now what's my tax bill going to look like? And I'm going to tell you. And then I'm going to say, oh, guess what? Now you're going to get even more money back. And you'll be like, oh my God, I'm going to buy some more real estate. But that type of knowledge, that's how you make it. You got to know what you're dealing with, right? And nothing makes me crazier is when a person gets their tax return done and they owe a ton of money, or they get back a bigger refund. I prefer them owe a ton than to get back a big refund. Why is that?
The government uses their money.
The government is using their money. You could have had that money all year to invest in some more real estate and create your wealth. Why are you letting Uncle Sam hold your money? Whose idea was that? Theirs, right? But are you in control or are they in control? Okay, so take control. Don't let Uncle Sam hold your money. My philosophy is, okay, maybe I'm going to pay them $1,000, maybe they're going to give me back $1,000, but typically Carla's paying them $1,000. Because I'm going to hoard my money as much as I possibly can. Okay? So just know that if you're looking for money, it could be in your tax return. The average client overpaid their taxes last year. We calculate all the strategy work we do. Just on average, we do it for a lot of clients, overpaid by $5,800. I don't know about you guys, but $5,800 is sent me on a cruise with my girlfriends, right? Yeah. I didn't say with my husband, I said with my girlfriends, right? They can send me on a cruise with my girlfriends. They can start me buying another piece of property. You follow me? Don't leave your money on the table. So what are some basic things that you should do? And this is just really basic. There's so much more to it. Everybody in this room who's buying property, you are a business owner, okay? You should be getting write-offs for your cars, your travel. And I'm not talking about mileage. Okay, a lot of you doing that standard mileage rate stuff. I don't know about you, but the standard mileage rate is not covering gas prices today.
Yeah.
Okay, gas prices are how much a gallon? $450, and the standard mileage rate is like 59 cents? Really?
Yeah.
Do the math. It doesn't work. So we need to be leasing our cars to our companies. Because if you're in business with real estate, lease your cars to your companies. Does that mean that you have to go tell the lender on your vehicle that you're leasing your car between your company? No. It just means you need to have the proper minutes set up and your resolutions that we're going to all talk about when I meet with you. Make sure you have all that documentation typed. Lease your car to your business. Get a full write-off for it. Can you have some de minimis mileage as an individual? Yes, you can, if you acknowledge it. Okay? What's going to help you if you do that? You're already paying for the car anyway, right? Or you may even have a car that you're not paying for, but if you lease it to your corporation and then you write off the gas and insurance and all those expenses, that lease income you're getting back is going to net down to zero. So that's a way to get tax-free money. Are you guys following me on that? Tax-free money. How many of you like money? How many of you like tax-free money? Okay, that's a different level of money, right? That's what we want. We want tax-free money. Here's another strategy that some of you may not know about. Let's say, for example, you are thinking about selling your real estate because you did some buys and flips maybe, and you want to hold your money until the market comes back, and at 2 or 3 years, now you're really ready to get out and buy. You can use what we call a deferred sales trust. How many of you heard of that? Okay, maybe one person. You can use a deferred sales trust that you can set up over a period of time. You decide the time where your money can be sitting tax-free. You didn't have to pay taxes on it. And then you can come in a deferred sales trust and buy some property and still not get paid the taxes on it. Yes?
Can you stick a deferred sales trust into an Illinois land trust? Because that's the only way really to protect property right now, Carla. So taking real property and turning it into chattel. So I'm assuming that we could take a deferred sales trust and stick it in an Illinois land trust.
And in this particular situation, you wouldn't want to do that because you're going to use a deferred sales trust when you sold property. You have proceeds that you want to hold, but you don't want to do a 1031 because you're not ready to buy. You just want to keep it sitting there for maybe 2, 3, 4 years. Now I'm ready to buy tax-free. Do you follow me?
Yeah, I just wanted total protection. It's amazing. They can a lawsuit can break a subchapter S, a C corp, and an LLC. Now, an Illinois land trust, because it's taking the real property, as you know, and turning it into a chattel. And so we have beneficial interest. We can sell, assign, transfer, a will.
Right.
So I'm just wondering if it wouldn't be wise, because if I own property for a year, 6 months or more, I would stick it automatically in an Illinois land trust. Look what happened to Al Capone. My God, they took his oil wells, gold, silver, everything.
People are so happy.
Never touched his real estate. The government never got it. Nobody got it. To this day. Most brilliant attorney in the world, Al Capone's attorney.
Wow.
God,
you better give me his number, just he's still around.
Man, I wish to God he was still alive.
Yeah.
I wanted to meet him. You know, the goal I had.
Yeah, you know, as we are out there and we're creating our wealth, we're going to run into some landmines.
Yes.
We're going to definitely run into some landmines. I mean, I ran into my fair share of landmines, but I am the asset protection queen. Like, I want all of my stuff protected. I don't want to own anything personally.
Good.
I am glad to tell people I am broke.
Good. No, lawsuits.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
You know, back in my early days when I was younger, about 15, because I'm only 21 now, back in my younger days, I used to want to have as much money as possible on my tax returns. That was my biggest thing. I wanted my W-2 income to be as high as possible. Now, I don't care whether my income on my tax returns is as high as possible. My line 31 adjusted gross income, it could be zero as far as I'm concerned. You know what I care about?
What you pay in taxes.
I care about what I pay in taxes. I care about my lifestyle and getting my wealth. That's what I care about. I am over the income thing. Okay, so it's just a mind shift. But let's continue to move forward. We'll be here all night. Income splitting. This is another strategy that you can use in dealing with your taxes. And I'll give you a prime example of income splitting that I use. So let's say, for example, one of my sons, he's at college, and we cannot get those college credits because our income is too high to get those college credits, right? We losing out on these credits. So a good thing would be, is there a way for me to employ my son, pay him money, right? Let him pay for his own college. He'll have a W-2, but he'll have college credits to offset that income. What has that done?
Alleviated the tax burden, number one.
It's alleviated the tax burden. It's gotten more income off my tax return because I want to be broke. Right?
Yep.
And he's actually proud to file a tax return, but he does do work. I do make him do stuff. He has to come work for it. Like, mom's not playing. You have to do work. But that's another strategy. So who else in your world can you pay? Because they're probably doing something for you. Even down to my 10-year-old. Did you notice the pictures of my kids in this video? Do you think that I do that just because I like my kids? I do like my kids. But I do that because I use their pictures. Can they get paid for me using their pictures?
Yes.
Models get paid.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that allows me to pay my 10-year-old at least $5,800 a year, and then I pay him money, right? So that comes off my tax return. So all of those non-taxable things that I can't deduct, like private school tuition, because I'm scared, you know, these shootings at these schools, right? Private school tuition, I can't deduct that because he's 10. But if I pay him and take that money and pay that tuition, did I get a tax deduction for it?
Yes.
And what else can happen if I pay him?
He can start developing credit. He can start developing his portfolio.
He can invest in a Roth IRA.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So he has a Roth IRA. And he knows he has a Roth IRA because he'll tell you. He told me the other day what the market was doing. Mom, let me tell you what the market did today. I was like, what? That's what they do when you educate them. But we have the power to educate them if we get the knowledge, right?
Isn't the money you put in the Roth has to be earned like
It is earned. I paid him.
But who pays the payroll tax?
Because he's under 18, there's no payroll tax if I pay him out of a solo LLC or as a Schedule C. There's no payroll tax because that's in the tax code in those 80,000 pages. It's all good stuff. Legal stuff. It's in the tax code. All right, so you can add your kid, you can get your daughter's weddings paid for. Praise God, I don't have daughters. I'm not paying for any weddings. I'm traditional mom. I think all the fathers should pay for weddings.
Oh, yeah.
I believe in that wholeheartedly. You can pay your elderly parents, whomever, it doesn't matter. You can pay people. But the key is make your real estate business a business.
Good.
So that you can get these great tax write-offs. It's important that you do that. Because that is the way that you're going to save money and be able to go to the next level with your taxes. I'm going to show you a couple of cases. I had a W-2 wage earner, a real estate investor that wasn't deducting his real estate because he didn't know how. 2 kids, their tax bill was $48,000. When we finished, we dropped their tax bill down to $10,000. Okay, that's a $37,000 savings. That's a lot of money to me. Because when I look at that, I start thinking about how many properties I can buy with that money. All right, that's a true story. Here's another person, small business owner. They had a tax bill of $23,000. After strategy, ooh, I cut myself off. Sarah, don't look at me. You know you got to come fix this. All right. Thank you so much. This person owed $23,000 tax bill. We saved them $8,100. That's their money. And what happens is, once you drop your tax bill, typically the strategy we're employing, you can drop your tax bill year after year. Okay, very important for you to know that. So when is strategy important? Can anybody tell me when strategy is important? Right now. What is your name? Tim. Strategy is important right now. Strategy is important all the time. Buying real estate, when your business needs to make money, when you're doing business in multiple states, when you're thinking of selling property, looking to increase your wealth, pulling money from an IRA, thinking of forming an LLC or a corporation, looking for investors. He talked about OPM, right? You can buy real estate with OPM, other people's money. But how do you do that? Looking to increase your revenue in your business, looking to decrease expenses, self-directing IRAs. There's so many ways to use tax strategy. I'll just tell you, everything you do right now, anytime you move in money, your taxes are involved. So it's really up to you to whether you choose to leave Uncle Sam a tip, at least know you're leaving him a tip, know you left him $4,800 or $5,800, right? I want to know that. Or you could choose to save your own money. It's totally up to you because you own the power. The decision is yours. You just have to choose to operate according to the plan. So at the end of the day, this game, the coach strategized. We beat this school. This is the first time we beat this school in 19 years. The year that my son graduated. They've lost since. He's been out 2 years, but they're now lost again. But we beat them that year. Because at the end of the day, the coach came up with this strategy. They lobbed the ball downfield. They told my son, you intercept that ball. You get it from that receiver. He intercepted, he ran it back for a touchdown. I was definitely a proud mama. He's at school on a football scholarship to this day. But here's the thing, time is running out. It's up to you. It is the 4th quarter of the game. It is totally up to you whether you want to change the game, take action, or sit still. And as Sam said, if you sit still, the government's going to make all the decisions for you. And I'll guarantee you, you're going to pay tax. But if you take action, what might happen? Something's going to happen, right? At least you can control what happened. I'm a control freak, so I do want to control my destiny. I'm going to decide how much I'm going to pay in taxes. The legal way, using the tax law. I'm not talking about tax preparation, I'm talking about tax law. Do you guys see the difference? The velocity that you can have when you deal with tax law. So a couple of things. I do have an offer for you this evening. Tara, if you want to pass, actually they have those pages out, so I'll just kind of go over with you. I have an offer that I told Sam I would do something special for you guys tonight. And I have what's called a tax reduction blueprint package. For those of you who are interested in really seeing, is there anything I can do to lower my tax bill? It includes a 16-point tax return analysis of your 2 prior tax returns. I will go through your tax returns with a fine-tooth comb, and I'm pretty sure I will find something on that tax return that you could have saved money. That's my job. I'm like a tax detective. I love what I do. Okay, that's the first thing you get. You will also get a written tax reduction blueprint. I will tell you exactly what you need to do based on your unique situation to reduce your tax bill. I'm going to tell you what you need to do. It's just that simple. We've done this. We do strategy. We only employ in my company EAs. No offense against CPAs, but I need people that understand tax law because my clients want that type of knowledge. People that are building wealth, you cannot be in a position where you're not getting the right information. So I eat and sleep this tax stuff for a reason. I want to read the code. I will comb through it, and I will email you out the nuggets that you need to know about. You will also get a tax reduction strategy call. That means that I will be on the phone or in person with you, and we will strategize over your taxes. I will tell you what you need to do. I will show you the difference. When I say I will show you the difference, I talk about the benchmark, right? What is it going to look like if you do strategy number 1? I will show you what that's going to look like for you. You're going to see the money in your pocket. We will also do prep calls with my team to get you ready for those. We do follow-up accountability calls. Why do we do follow-up accountability calls? What? Because things change, right? I don't want my clients going out there getting lost. When they start getting lost and I don't hear their voices, they're out there doing what I call tricks. And they're getting themselves in tax trouble. So I want to know what's happening with them. You will get a free CD, 7 things you must know when filing your tax return. Give it to your accountants if you want to. It's very important information. I do a lot of CDs. I do a lot of education calls. I have a 3 CD package that I'm giving away tonight to those people who take this. You will get free tax tips publications. I do a lot of publications with 20 ways to maximize your tax deductions. Okay, proven ways to maximize your tax deductions. And also, you will get exclusive invites to events that I do. Some events I go out to my entire database. Some events I only go out to my planning clients. Why do you think that is? They're different because they are in pursuit of real education that they can implement. That's important for you to know. My typical price is $1,400 to do this, but for your group tonight, just for tonight only, don't call me tomorrow. Tonight only, I'm doing that for $797. Okay, for anybody that wants to sign up for that, Sam's group takes care of all that. If you need to break it down in payments, you can do that too. But that is my gift for you guys listening to me talk about taxes, because I can talk to you all night. Did anybody in this room learn something?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, can I see a show of hands of those who learned something? Okay, very good. And what are you going to leave out of here with? What are you going to do? Start thinking differently, right? You got to turn your brain on. You got to start thinking differently. It's so important. So I think I have a couple of minutes. I'll take a couple of questions if anybody has any questions for me, because I'm being kind of timed.
What do you do when your accelerated depreciation starts running out?
Then you've got to come with a different strategy. Because now we have straight income, right? And we don't have any protection against this. That's on the standard write-ups. So we come up with a strategy to anticipate that income. Yes? Yes, I own a nonprofit myself. I have a Cohesive Foundation, and we do nonprofits. A lot of the companies that we do business with, they have nonprofits running alongside of them.
Who set up the DST? You, your firm, or?
Yes.
And that would be part of the strategy session, or that would be extra?
Part of the strategy session is for me to tell you whether or not you need a DST. If you need a DST, there's a 1% on the sales price of your transaction to do that.
So that's in subsidy of 1031?
Yes.
Either or?
Yes. But it depends on what your end game. Like a 1031 you do if you want to buy a piece of property right away, right?
A lot of times you don't know how to identify it. There's a couple of
Let me just grab this for just a second. Let me just ask you guys, if you would be willing to fill out these evaluation forms, that's really important to me, the good, the bad, or the ugly. I really appreciate your feedback. Thank you, Mike. You don't have a pen? We'll get you a pen. So say that question again.
The 1031, the most troublesome is you have to identify the property.
In 45 days, right.
But we don't know.
Okay, so what's the strategy with that? I'm sure Sam has one, but what do you think the strategy?
Repeat the question, please.
Yes, okay. So her question was, the issue with the 1031 is that you only have 45 days to identify the property. And I was saying, I'm sure Sam has a strategy for that, but it's all about a strategy, right? So if I'm going to do a 1031 transaction, and I'm not the real estate person, I'm speaking from an investor perspective, I'm going to go out and start looking and picking up phones and making phone calls. What you got? What's coming on the market? Who's selling? That's what I'm going to do.
The situation always changes.
You're right, but
If you come along, it's not what all of those people identify.
well, it may or may not be, but if you do a 1031, you got to be prepared, right?
So the DST has the flexibility.
There is flexibility in DST, but it has to be the right situation to do a deferred sales trust. Sam, do you have any comment on the 1031?
Reverse 1031.
Yeah.
Did you talk to him about that?
I didn't talk to him
Okay,
about
why
that,
don't
but
you
that
tell
is
me a little bit
another
about that?
where you can do a reverse 1031.
That's
That's a nice. We'll talk one-on-one. I'll give you some good
So the
feedback.
DST is 1% of sale?
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Somebody was rejected for conflict of compromise. Is there any way that they could get their taxes restructured to go back to the IRS and get it?
Yes. If you were rejected for
Repeat the question.
the question was, if someone was rejected for an offer and compromise, a tax settlement, can they go back and get an offer and compromise? You can go back, if you have a rejection, you can go back one more time on the same tax years.
Can you re-advise somebody how they're doing their taxes when they would get accepted?
Yeah, because whenever I set up an offer for a client, I'm going to strategize what that offer needs to look like. I'm just not going to go in and put together paperwork. Her question was, if a person's doing an offer and compromise, do I strategize? Absolutely, because part of getting you the offer is making sure everything is flowing according to what they need to see, right? So we need to strategize to get that in the right position for you. Absolutely. Okay? There's strategy and everything.
Can you clarify the cost segregation analysis issue? If you do it for a single property, you always have to do it for that property. Do you also have to do it for all your properties?
No.
Oh,
No, you
each
do not.
property, you can make a decision.
Right. So he asked me, if you do a cost segregation for one property, do you have to do it for all properties? Absolutely not, you don't. It's on property by property basis, a cost seg study. Yeah. Okay. Are we good? All right, I'm going to wrap it up with this. My name is Carla Dennis, and I appreciate anyone that's going to sit and listen to me talk about taxes. You guys have a great evening, and I'm looking forward to helping you. And Sam, I thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I'll let you.